Hello, Richard Needles here. Today I'm interviewing Rich Porrello, who is president of Huntington Bank Vehicle Finance and Dealer Services, about the topic of mentors. Rich, good morning. Thank you for participating in my interviews.
Good morning, Richard. Good to see you, and I appreciate you asking me to participate in your interviews. I'm looking
Good.
forward to it.
Good, good. Well, I told you that I'm doing this little bit of a study through these interviews about mentors and how people have affected people as mentors who have achieved pretty significant, nice leadership positions in their career. You and I have known each other for a few years. You're certainly one of those people I admire in leadership. So when you think about mentors, who was a person early in your life who was a mentor to you? What did you learn from that person? How did they impact you?
So, Richard, I would tell you that when I think about early in my life, and I'll go mainly early, probably early in my career, or when I really started to think about a career, right? Going to, as I was preparing for college, and then where I was, where my future would come, I would tell you that the person that I would call a mentor that probably didn't know he was a mentor, right? So was my father. So my father was one of the most instrumental people in my career. And when I think of mentors in my life, he would be my first mentor as I think about my career. And I was lucky enough, after graduating college, my father was a blue collar worker, and to go to work with him in the summers between college and obviously for that period of time. So we worked construction together. And what I always learned about my father, who was a foreman at the time, was that my father was always first to the job, and he was always last to leave. So kind of turn the lights on and turn the lights off. And as I, very different, got into banking 33 years ago, I've always lived my life, my work career that way, is that you got to be here, you got to be engaged, you got to work hard, and first in and last out. And if my father were here today, I would have this conversation with him about the importance of what I learned early in my life.
Wow, that work ethic, what he instilled in you, and what he modeled for you sounds like a great way to get off to a good start and build your career.
Yeah, it's, as I tell my kids, it's always better to, I try to tell them things, but I'd rather show them things. And back to your point, that's what my father did for me, is show me it.
Yep, talk the talk and walk the walk. Very cool, very cool. So now I'm going to fast forward to who has been a recent mentor for you, and who was that person? What did they do that impacted you, maybe in a little different way?
So as I prepared for this meeting, I looked at it from the perspective of I wanted to understand really who influenced me the most in my full career. So 33 years at Huntington, some would say that's boring. I think there's a lot of positives. I'm really excited. Hope I could get to 40. But the reality of it is I had four people that influenced me in my career. And I want to tell you a little bit about those four people that influenced me in my career. Some more recent than others, and you'll understand the most recent when I get there. But my wife of 32 years has really influenced me in my career along the way, because she's always the one that said, be loyal. And every time you make a decision, think about the downstream implications of those decisions. And this was one, Richard, that I had to fail many times, because I'm often ready to jump into things, but you got to really think about those downstream decisions, and that's been very important to me. When I joined the bank in 1987, I had a manager who was a mentor at that time. His name was Dick Filippic. He taught me two really simple things that today I always live with. And these are two simple things. Never have a file that says to be filed. And always return every phone call before the end of the day. No matter if you don't want to do it or not, you don't do it. And those are really simple things, but I've always lived by them. And I always remember that Nick Filippic, my first manager at Huntington, taught me that. And again, you may not say that's a mentor, but again, it was important to me, and it stays with me every day. Fast forward, from I had from the year 2000 to 2017, I had a manager at the bank, and also a guy by the name of Nick Stanitz, and very firm, very strong manager, but he always left me with the leader sets the tone, and everybody is watching what you do and what you say. And and I think it's the people are watching what you say, but you never think about whether they're watching you in the morning. They're watching your face. Are you smiling? Do you show too much stress? And that's something that over my career I've learned through my mentor Nick, that when you're leading big groups of people, you need to show them. You need to be in the world with them, but they're looking at how you're acting, both what you're saying and what you're doing. Really, really important to me. And then as I think about the mentor that has been most recent to me, it was you.
Oh.
And
I'm not paying you to say that, but thank you.
No, it's the coaching that I received from you in the time, and you really helped me grow more than you know. And one of the things that you said to me is, Rich, you need to think more slowly. And you stop, and when you first hear it, it didn't make sense to me, but it was slow down and really think about those things. And it kind of ties with what my wife, Lori, the way that the things that I've learned from her. But the most important thing I learned from you was to ask why 7 times. And it's incredible how you can engage your team, and you can learn so much more about them and about what you're trying to accomplish by asking why. And that is something that I've learned from my mentor, Richard Needles, and it's paying dividends today.
Well, I was going to say, thank you. You know how much I appreciate you, and I just love our relationship. Thank you. And,
it's really thank you.
Yeah,
it's really thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, and perhaps most important, I'm glad that I'm lined up with Lori. That's
me too.
So let me ask you this. I also know that you get approached. You have been a mentor for a lot of people yourself. So if you were thinking about offering some tips, words of advice to somebody who is being asked to be a mentor, what would you say is important for that person to consider before they say, yes, I'd be glad to be your mentor?
So I think one of the most important things is to really, before you could mentor somebody, would be to really understand the person that you're mentoring, what their goals are, and to make sure that you could align with them. Because I think part of mentoring is the commitment to this. And it's hard to get committed to a mentoring relationship if you're not aligned with the person that you're mentoring. So I think mentoring, before you could actually choose to mentor, to be a mentor or mentee, I think there has to be that kind of locking of arms from the commonality of the goal, where you could understand each other and agree with each other in the very beginning. That's really, that would be really, really important to me. Second is, you've got to be willing to commit as a mentor. You got to be willing to commit to the mentee. You've got to, from a time standpoint and from a thought perspective, you got to help them think through these things. So you just got to be committed to it.
Yeah, that aligns very nicely with another person I interviewed who said, ask yourself, do I have the time for this? And make sure I can make that commitment. Let me circle back to that alignment. When you say align, be aligned with that person, what are you thinking about?
Well, I would say that it would be really difficult to mentor a person that is not aligned from the perspective of I want to pause here and say that if someone thinks so vastly different about where they're trying to go, it would be hard for me to align with them and be a good mentor. So if you're meeting with somebody and someone says to you that I want you to help me to become the president of the bank, that's something that we use in banking. Mm-hmm. And you're talking to this person and you say, and you're looking at where they've been, where they're going, and what they have the ability to do. And you know that there is no way in the world that this person is going to be, you could help them become the president of the bank. I think you have to draw a line in the sand and say, time out. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to help you get from, if you want to go to here and we could align with that, I think that I could help you. But if you want to go there, I'm not sure that, this relationship would be, effective.
Yeah. So it's a self-awareness, I'm hearing, that person needs to have, and realistic about their expectations, timelines, skill set, path of their development. The other word that I might add is commitment. And you and I have talked about this, that are people committed to make those changes, and even alluding back to something you said earlier, in little ways, so being realistic, making the commitment.
Yep. And
thank you. Alignment was a word I wanted to make sure I understood. Thank you.
Yeah. And self-awareness, I think, take it one step further. It's not only self-awareness for the mentee, mm-hmm. It's self-awareness for the mentor as well.
Oh.
Because is the mentor self-aware that they can actually get the mentee help get the mentee where they want to go?
And maybe a basic, can I really help this person?
Right.
Wow. I am learning so much from these interviews, and every person I've interviewed has put wonderful little insights on this. I appreciate you, my friend. As I said when we talked last week, I wish I could give you a big hug, but we'll do the elbow bump, and then I'll look forward to buying you breakfast next time. So.
Well, here's what I'll say: there are hugs in our future. We know that.
Thank you so much, Rich. Have a great day.
Thank you, Richard.